What is good, guys? Welcome back to another stream. Another live. Get everything set up here. Let's see if we got some audio. Welcome. Come on in. Hope everyone is doing well on this beautiful Sunday. What is good, guys? Sounds like we got some audio and some video. Okay, how's everyone doing? Welcome to the live, guys. As usual, with the lives, any questions, drop them in the chat and we will get to every question. Hope everyone is doing well. Sorry I was a little bit late. I had originally scheduled this for 2, but some technical difficulties, so I had to postpone it till 2:45, but we are on time now. So, hope everyone's doing well. We got a great live today. Welcome, Aiden. Hey, other Aiden. Mike, good to see you. Saksham, welcome. How's everyone doing? Welcome to another live. So if you have any questions, drop them in the chat as usual, and we'll just get into some housekeeping things. So normally, I do most of my lives on Saturdays at around this time, around 2 or 3 p.m. Eastern. But, hey, what's going on? But now I'm starting up some football again, so I'll need probably to move them to Sundays for now, some of the lives when I do them. So keep an eye out for Sundays. They'll probably be more around Sundays at this time. So I usually drop a video on Sundays. Well, I always drop a video. Sunday at 11 a.m. is new videos. So we'll probably be doing live streams for the next little while around this time. So the live streams, I'm doing at least one a month. That's been my goal. So this is the May live stream. The April live stream was at like the beginning of April, so it's been a while. But we are here now with the May live stream and all that. So I think I have all my cool gestures working. I found this last time, so I can do all these cool gestures now. If you have an Apple and you're a Mac user, you can do that. So now we got some special effects. We're coming up in the live stream game. Anyway, hope everyone is doing well. We'll be getting into all the questions soon. I just wanted to jump into some stuff to talk about. So I like to start off these live streams talking about upcoming videos to give you guys some idea about what's to come. So today I dropped Dear Magicians episode 9, which is all about KISS, or keep it simple, stupid, right? So it's all about keeping things simple, why that's important when you're performing in your magic, and how to keep things simple, why you should and why you shouldn't get caught up in the trap of progressively getting more difficult and to the point where things become actually worse, too procedural, and they just don't work in real life performance. So I think that's a great video that dropped at 11 a.m. today, so you can go check that out. I think it's a really important video. Next week, Sunday, I have a tutorial for a really neat card effect utilizing a principle I call the weighted average principle. It's something I've talked about somewhere in a live at some point, so if you want to track it down a bit early. But I am going to be teaching that and the full weighted average effect that I do with it. So it is really, really cool. I'm hoping to get a live performance of it too. I usually try to get live performances, but the last little bit I haven't been able to get for a couple of the new effects I've taught. So I will try to get a live performance of it because it's a great effect. Then it'll be Mentalism 101, episode 11 after that, which is on reveals. So all kinds of different reveals in mentalism. It's interesting. I actually had a lesson today with one of my private lesson clients, and we were talking about reveals. And I was saying, a lot of mentalism, right, it's kind of the same. Divine information, reveal it. Divine information, reveal it. And what really, there's 3 things that can take mentalism to the next level. The least of which, out of those 3, the last on the list would be method, right? Yes, if you do like a poor billet peak, it might be a bit obvious as to what it is that's going on, and it might take away from the effect versus like a really clean method. That's not to say like you have to go propless. Like, yes, propless from a method perspective can help enhance the effect sometimes, but method's the least of the important. The most important thing is going to be how much you pull them in, right? How much you make them believe that what you're doing is real, and you build some kind of attachment to what it is they're thinking of, right? That's what gets the best reactions. If you can pull them in, make it seem believable, do some of these things, grab their hand, really make them feel it and pull out some emotion from them. But the second most important thing is the reveal. So how do you reveal the piece of information? What's the unique way that you find to reveal it? And the way that then this video is super important because I talk all about reveals and how I go about multiple different reveals. I give you guys like, I don't know, 7 or 8 different ideas for reveals, and that's what will really help take your mentalism to the next level, is getting different reveals, right? Different ways of revealing information and just creatively, revealing things. Okay, so how's everyone doing? Hope all is well. Let me know if you guys have any questions. As always, you can drop them in the chat. Let me see if we got anything. Okay, we got a few questions so far, so just keep them coming. So the next video that'll be coming out after that Mentalism 101, I'll be doing another performance breakdown. So it'll be part 2 of the last performance breakdown I did. So it'll be part 2 of breaking down that video. I don't remember what is all in it. And then we'll be teaching a mentalism effect of mine I call convolution, which is something brand new. I haven't really talked about it or shared it on the channel. It's a great effect, really powerful, practical, utilizing one ahead, so it's a great method. And then I'll be dropping another street magic video. So that's what's coming in the pipeline in terms of new videos. Okay, so big announcement for today is the group lesson. So guys, I'm hosting the next exclusive group lesson on Sunday, June 23rd at 11 a.m. Eastern. I will be hosting a group lesson. So if you don't know, group lessons are sort of like private lessons, but they're with a group. So it's a great way to get one-on-one help from me on whatever it is you want, card magic, mentalism, absolutely anything, for a lot cheaper. So you get to, basically how it works, we've had several of them now. They've been a huge success. I know Aiden in here has done one of them, or a couple of them. Mike has done a couple. And so they've really enjoyed them. We get a bunch of different people in the group, but it's capped out at about 10 people. So make sure you book your spot to not miss out. So it's about a month away, the next one. But basically, everyone is going to get a slot, a time slot, where you get to ask me about whatever it is you want. If you want help with a move, if you want to learn an effect, if you have questions about something, if you want me to give you live feedback on something, you want to perform an effect, anything you want at all, you get your dedicated time slot to ask me and we'll work on it. But everyone else is going to be watching and getting to learn from what it is that you're asking about. So not only do you learn from what other people are asking, then you get to have your own slot. So it ends up being, the lesson length varies depending on how many people we have join, but it ends up being a really fun experience. It's kind of just like a big jam. And at the end, I usually we do another 20-30 minute jam where sometimes I teach, some of my best effects on there or whatever it is. So it's always a lot of fun. So if you are interested, you can check that out. There's a link in the pinned comment if you want to sign up for the group lesson. There's also a link in the description. So make sure you don't miss out on that because the spots, there's limited spots here. So Aiden says, can't recommend the group lessons enough. So yeah, they're always a lot of fun and huge success. I usually do one every couple of months. So the next one's going to be Sunday, June 23rd, and I would highly recommend it. I would love to see you guys there, and it's always just a lot of fun. So if you guys are interested, link in the pinned comments. Otherwise, private lessons, if you want some one-on-one for a full hour, you can go check out link in the description on my website. You can go book in your lesson. If you have any questions, you can drop them here in the chat or send me an email if it's a more private question, and I can help you answer those. So yeah. One second. Yeah, okay. So then, what's the other thing I wanted to say? Yeah, so private lessons. I am running a 3-lesson deal, so you can get save some money on doing a 3-lesson package for private lessons, or I have a buy 4, get 1 free, so it's like a 5-lesson deal where you get a full lesson for free if you sign up for 5 lessons. So I have some of those deals running right now on my website if you are interested. The lessons are a lot of fun. We can go over whatever you want. If you have any effect of mine you've ever seen you want to learn that I haven't taught anywhere, you can go learn that in the private lessons or just get help. Generally the lessons are more of a long-term thing where I work with people if they want to start performing, if they want to create custom routines and sets and effects. I work with you. This morning in one of my lessons I just created, on the spot, we created a 3-phase impromptu mentalism routine using a single billet, 3 different effects. Some of them we've been working on for quite a while, and we put them together, and now it's a full phase routine that he'll go and start performing. So it's really exciting and a lot of fun. Last thing to plug is memberships. So channel memberships, I will, let's see if I can get this set up to show you guys what we got on the membership. But basically, the membership is my Mentalism membership. So I've been running this for about 3 months now. We have about, depending on the month, we usually have about 15 to 20 members. So it's been a great success. I know Aiden is a member, Mike's a member, who I see in here right now. So I'm basically going through and breaking down every effect from Practical Mental Magic, which is an incredible staple book in mentalism. And you will learn every one of those effects, but it's not just the effects, right? You could go buy the book and learn it yourself, but I'm putting a ton of my own spin. A lot of those effects are a bit dated, so I'm modernizing everything, and some of the methods are just end up being completely new, but it's a similar effect. So there'll be over 200 effects, mentalism on that membership. I'm also teaching some of my best material there. I will be teaching my best, the greatest ACAN you can do, I'll be teaching on there because it has a bit of a mentalism twist. I will be teaching a one-ahead masterclass on there coming very soon. So if you would like to check that out, there's a link in the description for that, for my Mentalism membership. 2 new videos at least every month, in addition to everything you get, obviously, on the channel for free. So let's see if I can pull that up really quick. So here is the membership. So we have, we're on episode 11 of the Practical Mental Magic series. So, you know, we got some great videos. Ghost of a Chance was a killer effect, sort of like a switch device that can be used for a really unique dual reality kind of force. My favorite so far is Turval, which is a really unique sort of one-ahead, simple but clean billet routine. So a bunch of stuff on the Mentalism membership, and I'm constantly adding to that. So if you guys are interested in that, I would recommend it. And it's been absolutely a blast making those videos. So more to come. In terms of I just see we got a question. What is the price for the group lesson? So the group lesson is about, my prices are in Canadian dollars, so I think it's $20 US. It's about $20 US for the group lesson. So, you know, not very much, you know, the price of like a couple of coffees in this economy. So if you guys are interested, it's a lot of fun, and I would highly recommend it. We're going to have an absolute blast on June 23rd. Okay, so magic news. I see we got a couple of questions here, so I'll get to those in a second. I have a magic show in a week in my college. Give me some stage magic trips. Already done mentalism effects. Great reaction, though. Okay, so what's interesting, I'll get to some of the questions here in a chat in a second, but there's one thing that's pretty interesting I want to talk about. I'm sure you guys have heard about this by now, but Dan and Dave about a month ago released all of their material to the public domain. So Dan and Dave, the Buck twins, are incredible, you know, creators in the magic world, and they have basically said that everything they've ever created is public domain. So if you don't know, you know, legally, there's no real rule as to what you can teach here, you know, and that sort of thing on YouTube. Like, technically, you could go buy an effect on any magic website and just teach it, you know, even if it just dropped. Now, extremely unethical, and I would not do that, and I would not recommend anyone does that. You should respect creators and the magic community, and if someone is you know, still profiting off something, you should not be teaching it, right? That's why most of the stuff I teach is original or original spin on things. But things that are public domain, right? Things that were written up in books like 100 years ago that are now in the public domain, you know, it basically means the books can be, you know, sold for free and given away and PDF'd and all that stuff for free. So that stuff is generally, we consider that fair use on YouTube, so you can kind of teach any of that stuff. So what's interesting is Dan and Dave put all their material, and they're actually, you know, most of the time stuff becomes public domain, the magicians are long gone, dead. They're still alive, young. They have some incredible books, like If an Octopus Could Palm, that they're still making money off of, you know, tons of projects. So, you know, now you could go through and you know, if I wanted, I could go teach stuff from If an Octopus Could Palm. I've always wanted to make a video on Undertow, which is You know, octopus this book is very, very difficult. The sleight of hand in here, that's, you know, hence the 8-armed octopus, right? Undertow is very tough, but it's a very beautiful move. I've always kind of wanted to make a video on it, but I didn't for, you know, ethical reasons. But I'm curious what you guys think of that. I think it's pretty neat. I mean, I don't know that I'm gonna just jump and start just teaching all Dan and Dave stuff. You know, I feel like that's a little bit like, you know, come on. But I mean, I haven't seen anyone doing it. But maybe you know, it might happen. But it's a really neat move because you could even buy. And I think they said maybe I have to check, but I think they said anything else that they're planning on bringing out is going to be public domain, so you could like buy it and teach it, which again, wouldn't recommend. Support the creator, but it's a very interesting move, and I think hopefully it does start some kind of precedence, and not because I'm like selfish and I just want everyone to put their stuff public domain so I can teach it, but it just makes it easier. Like when you have, I think the ethical thing now, like if I wanted to teach Dan and Dave stuff, like if I wanted to teach Undertow, I probably would teach it, but teach like my handling of it, my spin on it, you know, how I have adapted it and how I use it and add something to it, right? I think it's important if you can add something to it. I'll show you guys my Undertow later when we go down to the card table. So we're gonna hopefully do some tutorials today and some other fun stuff. So let me know, guys. Let me know if you guys have any other questions. Drop them down in the chat. I'll get to those shortly. So that was pretty neat. Otherwise, what else is going on? Infinity deck, that's kind of the big talk now. Craig and Lloyd are putting out the Infinity deck. Not something I'm planning on picking up. It looks great, you know, but I'm not much of a photo deck performer. I've thought about it. I like some of the concepts, and I think that whole homonym thing is really, really neat, where they have like photos that if you read what you say, if you say the images, then it like makes a sentence. It's pretty neat. I think that's really creative, and I like that a lot. I just probably wouldn't do it, so I'm probably going to pass on it for now. But it is really, you know, I think a great thing for magicians and mentalists. So it's a cool deck. Otherwise, I have some exciting news in terms of some other stuff. So I don't know if you guys are familiar with my effect roller coaster. It's an effect I've performed a couple of times. I have shared in a couple of Street Magic performances. It's basically an effect. It's super unique, but basically the audience sort of, you know, they think that they're all in on it, and they're seeing how I trick another spectator, right? I'm doing an effect for one spectator, but everyone is seeing exactly how I do it. But in the end, we're actually just tricking the entire audience, right? So the whole time they think they're in on it and kind of getting a peek behind the curtain, which is a super unique, you know, situation for them to be in. But then at the end, they end up really they were the ones getting fooled all along. So that effect, I haven't taught anywhere, but it is coming. It's coming in a very exciting way. I am going to be contributing to John Kerry's upcoming book, Kerry and Friends. So I'll be teaching roller coaster in there, along with 2 other awesome effects, one PROPLESS mentalism effect and one other card effect. So it's exciting. Roller coaster is going to be on there, and I'm, you know, if you guys are ever interested in learning that, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of other great material from some other creators in there. But that's exciting news. So I think that's coming out January 2025. So I just finished working on that recently, and that's exciting. So let's see some of the questions we got here. It's weird how the classic methods are still 100% perfect amazing once they're up to date. Like that hat pin effect becoming one with a Sharpie. Yeah, exactly. So what Aiden's referring to is there was an effect in Practical Mental Magic called Mental Hat Pin, where you take like a little pin, right, and you put like a billet, you crunch up a billet and you put it on it, and the spectator would think of, I think the way they used to do it, they'd think of a deceased person. I think that's this one. Maybe that's the other one. Yeah, I think it's this one. But they think of a deceased person, and then you, they fold up a blank billet and they put it on the end of this like sharp pin, and they hold it. And then the effect is that they think of this person, and then they'll take off that blank billet, they'll open it, and they'll have that person will have like written their name or signed it. So there's a couple things, right? Why, like, I don't know, in today's day and age, using like dead people in our mentalism, psychic-esque, don't think it's the move. I don't like it. So first of all, we needed to modernize the plot. So I've modernized the plot, how you can actually use this in a really unique way, right? A completely different way. In terms of what you're actually predicting, like you're just using it as a way to divine information and kind of a prediction style effect, which is really, really neat. The other thing is, who's going to carry around a pin, right? Like, no one's going to have it. So I modernized it with a Sharpie. And the thing is, with a Sharpie, you can't really, stab it, and so it's like it has to be completely different, and the method for that effect was a switch, right? It was a switch using the pin. So I developed a brand new method, one that I hadn't created until I sat down to film that video and realized I was going to need to start brainstorming something new. And I came up with a beautiful switch using a Sharpie where you put the billet, you fold it up and you put it under the clip of the Sharpie, and you can do an incredible, clean, simple billet switch with a Sharpie. So that's on the Mentalism membership. That's one of my favorite things that I've sort of adapted so far from Practical Mental Magic. So that's just to illustrate, like, you will get some really unique stuff on the membership. It's not just me like rehashing the book or anything, right? What else? Hey Reed, what's up? I have my magic show in a week in my college. Nice, okay. Can you let me know some stage magic tricks which will be visible to the whole audience? Already done mentalism effects. Great reaction. So I think you're saying you've already have some mentalism effects planned. So that's good. Just to give you a few pointers on the mentalism front, like if you can try to make the reveals big, right? Make them, you could do like interactive reveals where the audience is getting involved, or like really big style reveals or something like that. If you have a link to a website or something, or your Instagram where everyone in the audience can navigate to and the reveal happens on there, that's also a great option, so everyone can kind of experience that at once. In terms of like card effects, it's a bit more tricky if that's kind of what you're asking, like some stage magic tricks. But there is options. Anything that you can do with a sort of a thought of card generally plays pretty well. So what my favorite piece of magic to do, or anything that's close up, you can also do, but you'll want some kind of camera with a projector so everyone can see. So I've done that before, but ultimately what I love to do is that ACAN I was talking about, and I know ACAN, but it's not an ACAN. The plot is not, let me show you an ACAN. Like, it's not the typical magician, any card at any number situation. It's very much like, it's an effect. And so I'm talking about my effect, J30 ACAN, which I performed in my recent Street Magic video if you want to check it out. But I will be teaching that on the Mentalism membership very, very soon. And it is a piece that plays extremely big because it's mostly verbal. Everything that happens, the number is created in one of the spectators' mind verbally. So I get them involved. And then we create a playing card verbally, right? It's like, what suit do you want? What number? And you get 5 people involved, plus one person for the number, plus one person holding onto the deck, one person deals. And then you can have one person reveal. So you can get so much of the audience involved, and most of them it's beautiful because they can just stay in their seats and you can call out to them instead of having to bring people up. Like, you'll just need 1 or 2 to hold on to the deck. And it's great because it's an effect where you know what the outcome's going to be, what the card and the number, so you can actually predict that. Like for me, I have it tattooed, the card and the number here for the reveal, right? So I use that, but you can reveal it in any way. You can think big, have like an envelope, from the start of the stage routine where, from the very beginning of your performance, it was there, the sealed envelope, or maybe it's under one of the spectators' chairs, taped to the bottom. And then you can say, spectator in seat A33, reach under your chair. There's an envelope there, right? And then it reveals that the whole time you knew what card and number would be predicted. So That effect is incredible and plays really, really big. So if you have any more specific questions, I'd be happy to help. Let me know. Can you help me on how to structure my routines? What type of tricks are good for openers, middle, phases, and closers? So my general process for structuring is start with your best effect and put that at the end. The thing that's going to get you the best reactions, because you don't want to end up in a situation where you're doing an effect and then the effects you do after, they just keep thinking about the first effect you did because you structured it wrong and the best effect is at the beginning. You can't follow it up. So, what to do about that? Well, you want to put your best effect at the end. Something that has a strong finish, that's impactful. Maybe it leaves them with some kind of souvenir. That's always great. Your first effect needs to be something that you're super confident in, that you will get and hit 100%, because that's when you're establishing your credibility, you're winning over the audience, and letting them give you some of their time. So that's really important. Then the other thing with the opener, it's better if it's a bit quick, snappy, right? Gets to moments of magic pretty quick, and be a longer effect, but as long as there are some moments of magic that happen quick, that is very good, because it gets, again, it helps establish that credibility and gets people interested and intrigued quickly. And then you want something that is also very strong. So like if you had 3 effects, like, you know, and you rank them in terms of the strongest, second strongest, third strongest, you'd put your first strongest at the end, second strongest at the beginning, your least strongest would fall in the middle. Now the middle effect, a couple of different ways you can take it. If there's just 3 effects that you want to do, then your middle effect can simply be the one that's the least strong. Still strong, but the least strong, right? One has to be the least strong, because you want to capture your attention with the first one and leave a lasting impact with the last. If you're putting more thought into the routining and how everything's going to be interconnected, that second effect should really, really be a transition effect, right? It should have some way to tie the first effect into the last effect. So an example might be you do 2-card Monty and you end with the 2 red kings in their hand. Well, now maybe you do a sandwich routine with those 2 red kings, right? Transitions nicely. And it doesn't have to be like transition with the cards, where whatever cards you end up on, you do a trick with next. It could be a verbal transition with your scripting and patter, which you can tie everything in, and you can pretty much tie in any effect if you just think about how, you know, the scripting is going to go. But so let's say you have the red kings, then you do a sandwich effect, and by the end of the sandwich effect, you're left with a selection, and now maybe you do a transposition or something, right? So you can be like a transition effect. Or another thing I like to do with the second effect is be like what I would call like an experimental type effect, or like a more risky effect. So what you could do in that case is, like, for example, you have an effect that's a little bit more risky. Something could go wrong. Maybe it's bold, or maybe you're just testing it out. It's a bit newer. Put that in the middle, right? Because you've established your credibility. If something goes wrong in the middle, then you can hammer it home with the last one. A lot of PROPLESS mentalism I'll structure in the middle for that reason. If something goes wrong, it's a bit more bold. I have my ways I can get out of it, and then, you know, hit them hard with that final phase. So that's my tips for structuring a routine. Do you show your GF some magic? I do. I show her magic from time to time. You know, she tends to kind of not want to see magic, but she likes it a lot. But when I try to show it to her, she's like, not right now. So, but no, she does like magic. So I do show it to her. Divining a dead person seems outdated. I performed that and it scared the spectator. I tend to do that unintentionally. Yeah, I think definitely, you know, doing anything with dead people is definitely outdated nowadays, you know. So you guys have any questions, keep them coming in the chat. Wow, I always wanted to extend my trick before the reveal. This is what I want to learn from you. I will join next month in the group session for sure. Okay, awesome. Yeah. No, it'd be great to have you in the group lesson. Make sure you sign up soon. If not, just do it now, because I don't want to have you miss out on that. It's a great opportunity. We have lots of fun. But yeah, I can help you with your reveal or whatever it is you want. I'd be happy to. That's an absolutely great topic. So, okay. So that's it for the questions for now. So if you guys have any more, keep them coming. But now we'll talk about Subliminal. So Subliminal is a new app from not that new, but it's a new app to me that I got recently from Mark Kirstein. And it is a really cool app that allows you to, it uses AI to create hidden words within images that is used for reveals, right? So we're talking about reveals again. So the one that I like to use so far, there's lots of different options. Let me make one here. So like this. So this is like the image of a building skyline, right? It's just buildings. And you can kind of zoom in and you get all these buildings, right? And it looks really neat, right? It's just like a skyline like this. But what's cool is if you start to tilt it, you can see there's actually a hidden word in there. Now, I'm not sure if this is backwards for you guys. I think it should be the right way. But you can see it says banana, right? So from, if you're zooming in and it doesn't really look like much, just looks like these buildings. But I can choose any word to be hidden in that image. And when you tilt the phone, it's like this. So it's really, really neat. So there's all kinds of different images that you can do where you can, like there's ones with dogs, cookies, leaves, lasagna, spaghetti, Christmas theme, Halloween. So all kinds of different images, and it uses AI to generate. So I haven't had much time to test it, but I've been playing around with different ideas that are super neat. So there's different input methods. You can just type it in. You can use voice input or like a gyroscope input. And it's really cool. So like I think the base effect is not what I'm going to use it for. It's something like, you have them kind of, zoom in on an image of, there I just showed the gyroscope, but let me see. I think how did it work? Anyway, you'd zoom in on the image of, see the keyboard's popping up. I can't remember the order, how to get it to do it properly, but you'd zoom in on the image, right? You could show them, and then as you turn it back, you say, you'd have them think of a word, and you say, so look, I took this image the other day, and you zoom in on this picture of, whatever it happens to be. And you say, look, like I took this image the other day, let's just zoom in on it. You can see it's buildings, right? Just a normal, and you leave it, then you say, now, you could be thinking of any word. So you have them think of a word, right? And they're thinking of a word, and you say for the first time, what's the word? They would reveal the word to you, and then you can use voice input or one of the many input methods to have this picture update with their word hidden in the background. So now you can zoom out and you say, look, it's interesting because if we go like this, and then you can do the reveal. So some of the reveals are viewable from like straight on. You don't have to do the tilt effect. I like the ones where you have to kind of tilt like this because it's more hidden. I think when they have to tilt it down to get like a better view when you're kind of staring at your phone this way, but there are some where you don't have to do that. Like this one with the clouds I think looks nice. So like this one, it's a bit more legible, so that says like bunny, right? So you can see in the clouds there. And you don't really have to tilt this one for it to become more legible. It's kind of more like square. So there's all these like unique different ones. But like I said, the main routine, it's nice and it's good, but I think it just, I like it better for other uses, right? With reveals. So I've come up with a couple of different ways where you can actually send it to the spectator before. So in this they recommend like, okay, after you're done, then you can like airdrop or send them the image so they can have that as a souvenir, which I also think is great because there's not a lot of souvenirs in mentalism. unless you have watched my Mentalism 101 episode on using billets, and you know that that's a great justification for billets. But anyway, with this, it's a really unique modern way to leave a souvenir. So that's why I love it, right? Gigging, like that is amazing. The souvenir aspect, the uniqueness of the reveal, right? It's all about getting new and different reveals. With mentalism, the more different ways to reveal, the better. The unique reveals, like this is really unique. But I wanted it to be able to happen on their phone, right? I wanted to be able to have them think of a word and then say, I'm going to send you an image. And I send them an image, and then I reveal the word. Then they can go back on their phone and look at the image. Now, the only way to do that is to know what the word is, that they end up thinking of. So I have a lot of different unique ways that I've come up with and how to routine and structure this with this app to kind of flip the whole routine on its head to where you can actually just send them the photo on their phone before, so it's not done all on your phone. It's not voice input. You just can manually input it and send them that image because you already know what they're going to think of. And anyway, so that's just an awesome use. Another cool thing is you can actually do a sentence and it'll do like a photo grid. Let me show you what I mean. So sort of like Snaps, if you have the Snaps deck. Where each picture is one letter. So you could say, okay, I have this album here, and you can see it's just a bunch of images. We have like a hill. Oh, wrong way. I have a hill. It's, this landscapes, cityscapes, bowling, all this stuff. And then if you zoom out in this, you can actually see that it actually spells something. So I just put I love you because it's short enough for this. But whatever, any sentence you want, and you can spell. So that's super unique too. That's like if you want to reveal something bigger, you can do it with like an actual photo album. So really, really cool. I would recommend it. It's called Subliminal by Mark Kirstein. It's a bit expensive, but well worth it for me. And I think it's just super unique. And I've come up with a couple cool effects with it. So stay tuned for the upcoming Street Magic videos where you can see me showcase some of those effects that I'll be testing out and messing around with. So highly recommend Subliminal. I think it's a really strong, important thing for mentalists and could be a very useful tool. What else? ChatGPT. So I talked about this at the very end of the last live. And I wanted to share it again because I felt like it was probably overlooked because it was at the end of like a 2-hour live. And we were talking mostly about the beef during that live. So I want to talk about it again. We can try a couple of things again here. I didn't test it before the live, so we'll just jump in and hope it works. And if it doesn't, go check the other live and you can see that it did work. So if you go and get the ChatGPT app, so it looks like that up there in the top corner. You can actually go in and create a chat right with them, and then you can hit the little microphone right over there, and then you can actually talk to them. So you're actually now talking to the AI like a person. So instead of typing things, and it's actually game changing in terms of practicing PROPLESS mentalism and mentalism effects, because it's not there. It's smart enough that it can learn. So if you give it an instruction in a PROPLESS effect and it doesn't understand, you can clarify, and then every time going forward you perform it, it will understand. So I practiced with it a few times, some effects. It worked most of them the first time. I didn't even have to explain anything. But a couple of times, so in a second we'll do my effect. I'll show you my effect, Mind Games. I'll do it on the ChatGPT. I'll perform it on them. And maybe I'll perform a Mind Peak or something. I'll do a couple PROPLESS effects. And you can see that it's crazy because it's just like a real person. It's a little slow. But other than that, it's just like a real person with real responses. It understands. It can follow the effects, remember things. It's game changing, because the problem with PROPLESS effects in practice, there's no good way to practice, because you have to you can only do it on one person one time to get those genuine reactions from them. and so it makes it very hard to practice propless effects. But having a tool like this, I'm telling you guys, is game changing. I saw this, so I'll give credit. I saw this on Unbiased Magic Reviews channel. Not really a huge fan of his channel, but actually this was a great thing I picked up. I saw from it, using it in this way. So credits go to him for sharing that. But I've been messing around with it, and guys, it is game changing. Like really, propless practice and other kind of practice. Like even if you're doing other magic effects, card effects, just asking it to name cards and help you. Like, yeah, Siri could do that stuff, but like, you'll see when I go through the propless effect how incredible it is. And the fact that it actually works and you're like guessing what it's thinking of, and you actually, like, I've had a lot of success with it. It's crazy. So let's try it out. Let's see how it works. So I'll start with a propless playing card divination. This is of my effect called Mind Games. I've taught this on the channel if you'd like to learn it. Okay, so apparently okay. Are you ready to okay. So, let's give it a shot. It's a little slow to respond. Do you want to help me with a or sorry, no, not help me. Let me try this. Okay. Let's see when it's ready. Turn the volume up. Can I show you a magic trick?
Yes, I'm ready to see a magic trick.
So what I want you to do is think of a number from a deck of cards.
Got it. I'm thinking of a number from a deck of cards.
Now, any number is obviously possible. Any value is possible at this point. Now, in a second, I'm going to have you think of a suit, but I don't want you to jump ahead just yet. So, for example, you might think of spades, right? And if you do think of spades, you'll kind of burn every line of that suit, of that spade, into your mind and really focus on it. So just let the first suit that comes into your head, into your mind now, and think of that suit.
Okay, I'm focusing on the suit now.
So now you're thinking of a completely random suit and a completely random card, but the problem is, it might not be as random as you think. You see, when people tend to think of cards, they tend to go for cards that are really common. Like the kings, for example, are super common. So what I want you to do, we're going to make this a bit more random. So if you're thinking of a number card, switch to any picture card. And if you're thinking of a picture card, switch to any number card.
Got it. I've made the switch.
Now take that new value that you're on and put it with that suit that you had and create that full card and imagine it in your mind.
I've created the full card and I'm imagining it in my mind.
All right. Can you focus in on the first letter of that card for me? And can you think of a month that starts with that letter?
Yes, I can.
And I'm thinking, I'm just starting to pick up on something. I think you went for a red card, didn't you?
No, I didn't go for a red card.
No. Now you could have went for absolutely any card at all. For the first time, why don't you tell us what it is, the card you're thinking of?
The card I'm thinking of is the Jack of Clubs.
Pretty cool, right? Jack of Clubs, right? Like, how crazy is that? Now, obviously, there's a few moments where I had to, like, specifically ask it for information when I'm kind of, when normally I would kind of, hidden that in a bit of, like, fishing and, like, some better questions where you actually have a person where I can gauge reaction. But, super cool. Like, the fact that that works, on a GPT, on a advanced language model is really, really neat. The fact that I can actually get it right. And if you notice the little things that it's doing, guys, like if you know my effect Mind Games, you'll know there's a lot of psychology and things going there where I say, think of a number card and it actually like thinks of it, right? And guys, that was like completely legit. I just did that off the cuff, like incredible. So if you go learn Mind Games, you can practice it on this and you will be able to achieve that, right? obviously, like I asked it, is it a red card? Where if it's with a person, you would, you tell like, or sorry, but you see, I actually no, I still did it how I would. I didn't ask. I said you went for a red card. She said no, but that's okay. It still could have been any black card, right? And that's really what the method in mind games is anyway. I've kind of pushed them so they're more likely to go for a red card based on some of the scripting. But you'll notice I kill spades at the beginning and I kill kings, which is really important for the method. When you say, I want you to imagine it could be a spade, for example, and you kill it. Well, you're hoping that the audience is not going to pick spade because you just said it. Same thing with king. I say king, hoping the audience won't say it. And it works on GPT. I have never had them say spade or king. So it's actually, some of the psychological principles are actually working on it, which is mind-blowing, absolutely mind-blowing. So let me know if you guys would like to see another PROPLESS effect on the ChatGPT. I'll see if I can get another one to go. Just let me know. And if you have any questions about that or anything else, please let me know. But ultimately, I would highly recommend you guys get the app. It's free. It's all free. Just play around with it. This is even since it's the free version, you're using GPT 3.5, right? So it's an older version and it's a bit slower, but it still works wonderfully. And one thing that, for example, that I did that didn't work per se with the ChatGPT at first was the instruction of switch from any number card to any picture card, or any picture card to any number card. I tested this a few times a month ago, and it would basically what did it do? I think it thought of ace or something, and it didn't understand the difference quite between ace and picture cards and stuff. So I just explained to it. I said, no. When I say switch from a number card to a picture card, that means if you're thinking of a value that's a number, switch to any picture card. And the picture cards are Jack, Queen, King. And I literally just explained it like you would to another person, and it's okay, got it. And then now it works flawlessly. What app? So Chris, it's just the ChatGPT app. So I showed that a second ago, so it just looks like that. ChatGPT at the top there. So that is, you literally just use the ChatGPT app, and then you click on the little headphones down there when you go into the chat, and you can look, you can even read the log of everything we just said, because it's actually writes it all down. So here's all the scripting I used and everything. It's all saved now, which is really cool. But you just tap the headphones and you can talk to the GPT model, the AI, and it's incredible for practicing PROPLESS mentalism. So just for fun, let's try another PROPLESS effect on it. I'm going to try Mind Peak here. Just for fun. Let's see if we can get this to work. This one's an awesome effect. We'll see if it works on the GPT. So here we go. Are you ready to see another magic trick?
Yes, I'm ready.
So I want you to imagine you're a young kid, maybe 10 to 12 years old, and you're in class, right? And you're really young, and you're just kind of in this class, and things are starting to get really boring, right? And as you're going through this class, your teacher's teaching a very boring lesson, and your senses all start to become heightened as you start to zone out. And you reach down and you pick up a crayon and you make a simple doodle on the table. Something that's 5 to 10 seconds that anyone would easily recognize. So you could go for a bicycle, a mountain, or a smiley face. Now, don't go for any of those as I said them, but anything you want that's, easily recognizable that would take 5 to 10 seconds. Just get something in mind for me.
Got it? I've got something in mind.
Now I want you to imagine this doodle as its actual sized object. So whatever it is, imagine it as its real life object, as the actual size that it is, and think of the word associated with it. So if it's like bicycle, you just think of bicycle, for example.
I've imagined the doodle as its real life object and associated it with the corresponding word.
Now, I want you to start to think of the letters in this word. Most of the time I would start with the drawing, but I think for you, because you're a language model, the words are going to be a little bit better here. So start to think of the letters and just scramble them up in your mind. I'm going to tell you what I'm picking up on. First thing I see, there's an A in your word.
Yes, there is an A in the word.
And a T as well.
Yes, there's also a T in the word.
All right. And I'm thinking, hold on. Oh, yeah, I think there's an R as well.
Actually, there's no R in the word.
Now this is okay, focus on that image for me. I think that's the problem. Go back to the image. I think this is something, it's a little bit it's a living thing, isn't it? Yeah, it's a living thing.
Yes, it is a living thing.
Uh-huh. And this is something that's a bit smaller, isn't it?
Yes, it's smaller in size.
Perfect. So why don't you tell us, I'm committed, for the first time, what is it you're just thinking of?
I'm thinking of the word cat.
Pretty cool, right, guys? Like, that is crazy. That is insane. Propless drawing duplication on AI, and it worked. Absolutely incredible. So, like I said, the fact that you can do this is absolutely awesome, and a really great tool to practice. It is really creepy. I agree, Mike. So cool, so creepy. And it's really cool. So yeah, David, like you said, yeah, ChatGPT has an app. It's great for practicing Propless. But David, like you said, so I know we had talked about this. Like, David has told me, like, in some of his experiences, it does make some mistakes, and I agree. So this particular one that I'm using, it's a chat, right? So like all that I just said is now logged in the chat into its memory, right? Because it's an AI, it learns. So David, for example, if you're trying MindPeak on it and it's not working, try using it in the same chat that you've done it previously, and the things that don't work, explain to it what it's doing wrong, right? Because I have like so much chat history from all the times I've practiced these effects on this particular chat, right, in this GPT. And so now it has learned, like, when I say think of a, think of a picture card, it knows what that means if it didn't understand it before. It's just the ChatGPT app, guys. It's literally just the ChatGPT app, GPT 3.5, the free version. And I just use the audio, just hit the little headphones and you can speak to it, and it's absolutely great. So you will have to teach it. Sometimes it might not understand, or it might make a mistake, but literally just say, hey, next time I say this, do that. Remember, it's literally like a person. So just talk to it like a person, and it will understand and it will remember. I haven't touched this thing in a month, and it still remembers those instructions. One thing you will find is sometimes if you use the same chat too much, it'll start to repeat answers. So for example, I think when I did this last time, it also thought of Jack of Clubs, which if you weren't watching, I did my effect mind games on it, and it thought of Jack of Clubs again. So to avoid that, you could then go and start a new chat with it. But I find it's pretty smart. Like in the effects I've been doing, as long as your instructions are clear, like it follows them totally fine, for the most part. I had someone comment, I think it was on the last live, and I want to read it, and I'll address what they said, because they pointed out some problems they were having with it. Again, it's not always perfect, guys, but as like a tool, incredible. So this guy said, I've been playing with your Propless card divination using ChatGPT. For some reason, it keeps ending up on Jack over Queen or King, and keeps saying it originally thought of 7. It also has a strong bias for hearts, when it should end up hearts only a quarter of the time. So I'm curious. Let me see if I ask it let's see if we can find out a bit of information here. Just to see. I want to test his theory. Do you remember when you were thinking of Jack of Clubs and I had you switch from a card to the Jack, right? You were on a card before and then you switched. Do you remember that?
Yes, I remember that. We switched from a card to the Jack.
What was the original card you were thinking of when I first asked you to think of a number from the deck?
The original card I was thinking of was the 5 of spades.
First of all, that's so freaky that like you can literally talk, like you see how that, I don't know, guys. So it was just, she just told us she was thinking of the 5 of spades. So he said it's usually thinking of 7. So that doesn't seem to be the case for me. It does seem to be able to, make different decisions. I'm sure some cards might come up more often. But in terms of Jack over Queen, I have found, it doesn't really choose King. But again, that's the whole point of the scripting with mind games. We kill the King, so it shouldn't ever pick King. Like, that's what we're hoping a real person would do. And so it's great that it also does that. And it's freaky, but it's great that it also does that. You guys have to play around with this because it is super neat. But, hold on here. Let me find the live again. Okay. So, yeah, Aiden. Yeah, Chris. It's weird. It's weird, but an incredible, incredible tool. So then the other thing I wanted to say is the other thing that he said was that it ends up on King a lot and Jack a lot, or Jack a lot, yeah. And I found it ends up, I've got it to end up on Queen, but again, Jack Queen, it's 50-50. The other thing was, what was the other thing he said? That it always ended up on 7 and always went for hearts. Yeah, he said it always went for hearts. But you know what's interesting? Like, yes, I understand maybe that could be a bit of a kind of bug type thing if it's like always ending up on hearts. But we just saw here it ended up on clubs. So that's the first thing. Second thing is, if it is actually ending up on hearts a lot, like that is what we would expect as a performing magician working with real people. Hearts is astronomically the most named suit. It's not even close, okay? Hearts is named probably like 75% of the time, okay? And so the fact that it's doing that, you have to wonder, because it's a language model, is it learning from all of the other data of people naming cards that exist out there and realizes that humans name hearts most of the time, so it does that too? Maybe. And that would be great because it's following real life psychology, but just a thought. Okay, I just see a bunch of chats come in. Let's see if it can follow the instructions for a trick that I've come up with. Okay, that would be cool. Let's see if that would be possible. You have one red and one blue deck. You let the spectator name any card. Then take the red deck face up and find their card while keeping it in the deck. You call that card to the top and put it on the top. At the top. Then you spread the deck and find... Then you have to cut time against the other half. Okay, so this sounds like a card trick though. So like, I think ChatGPT is while this is a cool card trick, it sounds like ChatGPT is it's more for stuff that you can do verbally, right? Like a PROPLESS stuff that you can verbally have it. So it can help you with card tricks, right? You can have it like pick cards, name cards, think of cards, all this stuff. And there was my effect mental image that you could probably do on this, right? So you would tell it, okay, so imagine you selected the 6 of spades from my deck, right? And then it would know that, and then you would walk through the mental image script, which has it change its mind and switch around and all this stuff. And so if you did that, it could follow along for that card trick. I don't, like the card trick that you're describing, I don't see how that would like help. Like, you know what I mean? So, is this only a ChatGPT live? No, it's a live of whatever you guys want. If you guys ask more questions, I'm happy to answer them. I do have a couple other things in mind, but we're just on GPT right now. Yeah, David, it's insane. So that's kind of what I've been using it for, different mentalism stuff. I wonder even about, should we try Guess Who on it, just for fun? I've never tried Guess Who on it, though, so I don't know if it will work. Are you guys bored? Okay, let me know if you want me to try Guess Who on it, or if we're bored. Can you ask the AI to imagine rolling down the street and smoking Indo while sipping on juice? Yeah, I could. But I already know the answer. I won't be able to divine that. It's funny. So, yeah, I could perform another PROPLESS effect, or what else do we have on the GPT? Yeah. So let me know, guys, if you have any other questions, stuff I can get to. Otherwise, I'm going to jump down to the card table now. We can do some tutorials. So let me know I have one thing I wanted to teach, an old card to pocket that I used to do, but I think it's worthwhile to share, and I think you guys would like it. It's called Repocket. It's a bit of a Daniel Madison type effect, you know, pretty exciting, a little bit more bold, some bold moves in it, you know. But yeah, like I said, I mentioned this earlier in the live. My effect roller coaster is going to be coming out soon in John Kerry's, well, not soon really, next year in January, but it's going to be coming out in John Kerry's upcoming book. I published my effect roller coaster, which is one I know a couple of people have asked to learn. It's absolutely killer effect. So guess who? Should we try it? Okay, let's move down to the card table. So let me know if you guys have anything card related, or well, anything at all, but we'll go down to the card table now. So if you guys have anything in particular that you would like me to go over at the card table, now is the time. Now is the time, in fact. Okay, so let's switch down. Okay. All right. How's that look? Pretty good. All right. So, what was the last card thing I taught on the channel? Does anyone remember? I don't. Let's take a look. So I wanted to share my favorite force. Ooh, okay, that's exciting. We can talk about that. Last thing I taught, oh yeah, was iPhone ACAN. If you guys have learned that video did pretty well. People always like the ACAN videos. Okay, favorite force. My favorite force. You can learn it in the video, in a video that I've taught called, I believe, My Favorite Card Force is the name of the video. But I will share it again here. If you guys, if anyone has time, if anyone knows and they can guess it before I reveal it, you should know if you watch my channel for any time what my favorite force is. But I'm just trying to find the video so you can get, if you want to check it out after as well, but I'll teach it again here. Internet is slow today for some reason. Okay, what's it called? What's it called? Let's go playlist instead. I'm pretty sure it is called... Okay, on the thumbnail it says My Favorite Force. The title of the video is This is the Best Force of All Time. So, my favorite force is the spread force. So typically, the spread force is done with a card that is called under the spread. So if we're forcing the 3 of hearts, and then they call stop, and then you go like this, and you show it. Now, I have my own handling of the spread force that I think is a lot more fair and a lot better, and that is my favorite force and something I use all the time. Now, why? A couple of different reasons. Really easy to get the card into the force position, which is on the bottom of the deck. You could also force it from the top of the deck by going like that, where you peel off the top card into your hand and then you start spreading on top. If that happens in the off moment, I think it's totally fine. You can do the force like that. Or I prefer to just pull it right off the bottom though, because it's easy to just go and get it straight off the bottom quickly and get the card, more importantly, to the bottom, right? If I call the force card to the top, then I can really easily shuffle it right to the bottom or shift it to the bottom. And then I can go for my force. Now, here's how the force looks, the way I do it. So you go, they say stop, they can stop here, they can stop here, and then I show them that they stopped on the Jack of Hearts just like that. So the difference is, if you notice, instead of pushing the cards and forcing the Jack of Hearts, what you do instead is you take the Jack of Hearts and you push it out so it lines up with the spread, and you just turn it up like that, right? And so instead of having that weird moment where you do this, you literally just come through and you tilt the deck up and it's there. So all you're doing is literally pushing the card in position. So by the way, another thing you could do is have the called card in like the 4th position. Some people like to do that, and then as you go through, you just call that 4th card. I don't like that because it's just harder to get the force card into position quickly, right? It's on top, then I got to shuffle a couple cards on top, all that. So Jack of Hearts on the bottom. So what you do, you go through, get your force card and call however you'd like. Keep spreading underneath until they call stop, and you're gonna have them point at it. So you say just touch once. Let's say they touch right here. Now, if you just try to push the Jack over to the 10 of spades, it's not going to work. That's going to happen. So, how do we solve that? Well, you need to get leverage, right? The same way with a cull, that you require leverage of the deck, right? You require, if you try to cull, the whole thing's going to close, right? If I'm underneath and I try to pull. So I need leverage with this top thumb holding the rest of the cards in position so that I can just get this one out without the rest of the deck's closing. So you're basically doing that in reverse. If you need to apply the thumb here to be able to apply pressure now to move the jack independently from the rest of the spread. So what's the justification for bringing the thumb onto the deck? So you're going to cull, they stop here, and you say, this one, are you sure? And you flick it a few times. They say yes, and as you do that, you say, this one, are you sure? And then you're going to just put the thumb on the deck like this. And you're just going to put the deck right on the top and put your thumb on it like this. And that's all the leverage you need to be able to push the jack back. Now, how do you get the jack square? Well, it's just going to push and it's going to stop against the packet here. It's going to push until it reaches the packet and it'll naturally square itself up along that edge. And that's really all it is. Then it's just practicing the knack of it, right? You go through this one right here and they say yes, and you just show it to them like that. So I usually use this, one of my favorite way to use this, so if you want to have a card selected, you'd go through, they'd say this one, you say this one, are you sure? They say yeah, and you say here, okay, we'll take that card out, and there you go, and there's the force. And again, it's nice because you can go, they can stop here, or they can keep going, and they can stop here, and each time it's the force. Now, my favorite way to use this is with like a thought of card. Instead of, going through, doing this, trying to get your peak, whatever, I always have thought, instead of doing a peak, right, if you're trying to do like a thought of card of some sort, you could go through and do some kind of peak, sure, but I've always preferred going through, culling the card, and then, when I culling a force card, and then I can just force it, and then I can instantly say, okay, remember that card? Here, shuffle, right? And they can shuffle it, and that's super, super clean. So, it's really, really nice. Yeah, so the effect that was described in the comments, I see you guys are talking about it. Yeah, no, it was a good effect, but we're talking about ChatGPT at the time, and we're going to see if it could... Oh, okay, maybe I misread what he was saying. I thought he wanted me to try this trick on ChatGPT, but it looks like he said, let me see if you can follow the instruction for this trick. Interesting. Okay, let me give it another chance then. So, I do have a red deck and a blue deck. I'm going to give this a try. This sounds interesting. Someone, let's see here. What do I have in this deck? Some extra cards? Okay. Okay. So someone in the comments left this. Let's see. Let's review their trick. So you have one red and one blue deck, and you let the spectator name any card. Okay, Jack of Hearts. You take the red deck face up and find their card while keeping it in the deck and letting them sign it. Okay. Boom. I'm not going to sign it, but they sign it. You call their card to the top and put it in a gambler's cop after they pick it. Okay. Pick up the blue deck, face up, and put their card on top. Okay. You spread the blue deck to find the same card on the blue deck. While doing that, you call their card from the top. Okay. So we go through, we find the Jack of Hearts. And as I'm doing that, I call out the Jack of Hearts. And of course, I have no Jack of Hearts in this blue deck, but I thought we just used it. Did I miss it? There it is. Okay, so I have this, and I have the red one culled. When you find their card, you want to stick it out so that it's trapped between their culled card and the half in front of the sticked out card. Then you square it up. Okay, I think I did that. Other card called by. Then you square up the half that got their card culled by tapping it against the other half, and put the half with their card aligned with the other half, but a bit forward. Okay. So I did that wrong, but I think it's like this, maybe. You then place your pointer finger against the back of their card with your left hand, while putting the right hand finger on the outer edge of the blue card sticking out, pulling it back so that the card on the blue card sticking out aligns with each other completely, that the two halves align perfectly. Yeah, okay. Then you turn the deck upside down to show that their card sticking out completely also. Then you turn the deck upside down to show that their card is the only card in the red. Down to show that the card that they said is the only red card in the deck, while saying that you have pulled back the blue card in the deck. While saying that you have pulled back, the blue card in the deck, so that when you turn the card around, their signature has appeared on it. Oh, okay, got it. I think I followed along. That's it. There we go. Sorry. Yeah, okay. I thought you wanted me to try this trick on ChatGPT. So I was like extremely confused on like how I was supposed to do a card trick. Anyway, okay, let's run through that again. That was kind of cool. I like that. So so this effect, hopefully, I'm assuming I'm going to teach it in more detail and see if I can come up with anything here. So 2 decks, okay? This is actually cool. So a spectator, an audience member's tutorial for an effect. Okay, so 2 decks of cards. You have a spectator name any card. So they say the Jack of Hearts. You're going to go through and you're going to go to the Jack of Hearts and you're going to have them sign it. So they would sign this card. Let's see if I have a card already signed in here. I should. I just don't. Okay, we'll say 9 of diamonds. Okay, perfect. So 9 of diamonds. So 9 of diamonds, they sign it. Okay, we're going to put that card down and leave that in the deck. And then I'll take this deck here. Now we're going to look for the 9 of diamonds in this deck as well. So let's see, 9 of diamonds. Hopefully I have it. Oh, there it is here. We'll put the 9 of diamonds there just like that, and we'll leave it sticking out a bit. Now, this 9 of diamonds here, well, this is a tricky thing if I haven't done this. So this 9 of diamonds is interesting. This was the blue deck, but this is actually the only red card that's in the blue deck. Really, it's the only red card that's in the blue deck. And not only is it the only red card in the blue deck, it's actually your signed 9 of diamonds. So that's the effect. Kind of cool. I like it. I like that. Very neat. Very neat effect. You know, it's kind of like a transpo, but it's a transpo that happens quickly. I think I would, if I were to do this, I definitely would need to work on that one move, and I'm sure I could get it down a bit better. But it's something like that, and then yeah, I've actually played around a lot with a move similar where you align the cards stuck out like this. For me, I've always preferred to instead push this card back onto it, so you can kind of line it up like that. So what you would need to do, and how I would maybe go about doing that, is if it's aligned like this, all you need is this to be up a little bit, right? Just a little bit from the rest of the deck. So if it's just out, I would prefer to keep the deck square because I think this is a little bit strange. So instead, I might go, so you're in this position, and now you can use these back fingers to push it up a little bit. So you push it up a little bit, and then you can square everything, and now it's out a little bit, and now I'll push this card back instead. I think it's a lot easier to square if you push the blue card, right? It's like this, but if I push this blue card back, and then I can readjust it and pull it out a bit, it's a lot easier to square. And now I can say, look, it's the only red card in the deck. I wonder if you could, yeah, even do like a spread display like that. Will they stay together? Probably not, but maybe there's a way to do that, and that would look pretty neat. But anyway, then you go like this, and now the interesting thing is, if you kind of lift up, you can kind of push that one back with your finger pretty easily. So that moves pretty easy. So that's what I've played with. I've played with a few ideas of like having a card change like that, right? And that's always the way that I've done it. So what I do is I start to move this card back in, and then I'm going to use these fingers to push this, and that's hidden under the action of the card moving in like this. So it's like this, and then it comes out. Now I wouldn't actually turn the deck like that, but it's like this, right? So you show the 9 of diamonds unsigned, and then you go like this, and you can immediately pull it back out, and it changes into the signed one. Right, so that looks really cool, really clean. So I like that. That's a very neat little effect. Thanks for sharing. Much appreciated. So if anyone has any other questions, let me know. We will now take a look at a quick card to pocket, and then we'll wrap up the live if no one else has any other questions or anything they'd like me to go over. So let me know, what time are we at? An hour 17, pretty solid. Okay, so this is an effect called repocket. So repocket is something I created a long time ago. It's a cool little card to pocket with 2 spectators. So I created it because I wanted a 2-card signed card to pocket type effect without it getting too stale from just being like card to pockets over and over and over. So the effect is something I don't really have. You kind of need to be standing for this, and ideally you have like jeans where you have front pocket and a back pocket, which I don't have. But I'll try to walk you through a version of this. So spectator names a card or touches one. So let's say they take the Ace of Spades, which is already signed for us. Perfect. You're going to have them sign it. And then I like to start this with a quick ambitious card phase. So we'll push the card into the middle and you say watch as it comes back to the top. So then I'll go into the card to pocket phase. So for this, I'll take the card, we'll push it in the middle of the deck, and then you can see what's interesting is this whole time I've actually had one card in my pocket, and it is of course your signed card. Now, here's what we'll do. So I'll take this card here, and we'll just leave it, actually we'll leave it face up on the deck because I need a second spectator to name a card. So let's say they say the Jack of Hearts, so I'll leave that face up while I go through and find our Jack of Hearts. Now, while they are signing this, let me get my marker here so they can go ahead and sign that. Actually, that's the wrong order. This should have already been out because they signed it. Yeah, see, I'm getting confused with other pockets here. So let's put that back for a second. So they take out that card, and then this happens first. So we show them the Ace of Spades, and I take the Ace of Spades, and I put it right into the middle. I'll actually leave it sticking out just a little bit, just like that. And now I can come get that marker, where is it here? Yeah, right here from the pocket, and they can sign that. Okay, so they can sign this, they'll sign the Jack of Hearts, and then we can come back to this spectator and they can push that card in themselves. And then, you know, we can go through, watch, I'll take the card, and boom. And if I come to my back pocket here, their card has ended up in my back pocket. And then I perform with these two, I perform Relapse by Daniel Madison. I haven't done this in a long time. Let's see if I can still do it. But now you have 2 signed cards. It's perfect for Relapse. So you say something like this. So I'll take the Ace of Spades and I'll put that back in my pocket again. We'll put that back there. Now, oh, I just flashed that crazy. But anyway, back in the pocket. It's a bit weird with these angles. So we have the Jack of Hearts here. And if the Jack of Hearts is here, how does Relapse even go, man? I haven't done this in so long. The Jack of Hearts is here, and if the Jack of Hearts is here, I can just snap and get it to go back into the Ace of Spades. Now, if the Ace of Spades is here, then that means that the Jack of Hearts must be... Well, actually, the Ace of Spades is here, and the Jack of Hearts never went anywhere. Sorry, that was a terrible performance of Relapse, but that's the idea. So you take one card, put it into your pocket like this, and then you say, watch, I have the Jack of Hearts here, but if I just quickly snap, it turns right into the Ace of Spades. What's interesting is if the Ace of Spades is here, well, that means that in my pocket should be the Jack of Hearts, but actually the Ace of Spades was here the whole time and the Jack of Hearts was here. Okay, that was a little bit better, but that's the idea. So I used to do that as a full routine, card to pocket, repocket. So it's like Relapse and card to pocket, repocket. So how that works, so basically step 1, you have a card named, take it out, have them sign it. You want to have pants with front and back pockets, and you start with the Sharpie in your front pocket. So you're going to take this Sharpie out, they're going to sign the card, and then once they've signed it, you need to make sure you take the Sharpie back and put it back in that front pocket. And you're just kind of creating the idea that the Sharpie was in that front pocket, okay? Conditioning a little bit. Now, this part's optional, but I always like to kind of do a bit of a ambitious card phase. So we'll do a control. There I did the panoramic shift, but you could also do bow to stern or any other top control that you like, right? So you control the card to the top and you do a quick ambitious card. Now we'll do a card to pocket, so I'll do a DPS here. So I'll push the card in, and I'll say, look, you know, there was a card in my pocket this whole time, whatever. I'm not really going through the pattern here, but that's kind of the effect. Now, once that's done, you need to get this card second from the top. So what I do is as I pull this card out, I say, look, so we'll take this card here and I'll leave it on top. We'll turn it face up on the deck. So that's actually now a double. So you're going to do a top change. You say, look, I'll take this card here, and now I've changed it. And then I place it right on top. Get some water here. I place it right on top. And I immediately have my break to flip over the double. Now you have a double on top of the deck. You're gonna ask spectator 2 to name a card. You go through, pull out their named card. Okay? They have their named card in their hand, and you're gonna take that double now and do this turnover move. So the turnover move is you turn it, putting it directly into cop, and then steal off that top card, which has now been switched, and you can put that in the middle, and this card is in cop. So at speed, it looks like this. So I'll take that card, and we'll leave it in the middle like that. And you can push it in just a bit, and now you can set that down. I like to set it in the spectator's hands while this card's in cop. Now I say, you know what? You need the Sharpie to sign your card. So I go back, and I go to my very back pocket, thinking the Sharpie's there. I drop off the card, and I say, oh no, it's over here. And I can come and grab it out of this pocket. And it's just like a casual, you kind of can tap, like, oh, where's the Sharpie? Oh, got it. Like, that's kind of what you do. You don't even have to draw much attention to it, so I'll kind of go like this, place it in the pocket, and I'll go, where's the Sharpie? Oh, here it is, front pocket, and then I'll take it out like that, hand it to them, they sign it. Now that they've signed it, you can have this spectator push that card in all the way. And if you're worried about them peeking at it, don't. Just leave it out a little bit, and they'll push it in all the way. You don't have to worry. Once that's done, then you can perform relapse. You have 2 signed cards, or sorry, you do the reveal. You have the cleanest card to pocket. You can have them go take the card out if you want. And then you're going to do relapse. So for relapse, you pretend to, Daniel Madison's taught this on his channel, but you pretend to put the card in the pocket. And you're really putting it into a gambler's cop as you pretend to put it in. Now you say, so I have the Jack of Hearts here, but it's interesting. If I just give it a snap and you're going to align them, and you say, then I have the Ace of Spades here. But if the Ace of Spades is here, then you come and you're going to put it right into a cop as you take the top card and flick it off your thumb, doing another switch. So what's interesting is if the Ace of Spades is here, then that means that the Jack of Diamonds must be in my pocket. But if I take out this, you can see that the Ace of Spades was actually never left the whole time, right? So that's the idea for repocket. So I've done that a lot. I think the gold there is kind of the initial, that last phase of the card to pocket where you're justifying and going to your pocket for the Sharpie, and you can load the card. So I think that's really great. All right, guys. So let me know if you have any last questions. I'm just going to wrap it up here. If you guys have any last questions, please let me know. Hope you guys enjoyed this live. It was another great one. But yeah, so with all that said, we got the group lesson coming up June 23rd. Okay, at 11 a.m. So if you want to sign up for the group lesson, get some help from me, the link is in the pinned comments. Great way to get some help. We can go over all kinds of stuff. Looking forward to seeing you guys there. Already have a few of you signed up, so it's going to be great. So the group lesson, private lessons, you know, Mentalism membership also is running. Lots of great stuff on there, guys. So thank you all for joining. I really appreciate it. I think this was a great live. Some really cool stuff with GPT. Subliminal, and some great mentalism, and a cool little card trick that we learned from one of you guys, which was pretty neat. So thanks a lot. I'm going to say Oregarev. I don't know if that's your name or just a username, but thank you for sharing that with us. That was a cool little effect. But yeah, so I appreciate you guys for joining. Oh, I see. Do you have a favorite color change? My camera looks like it's going to die here soon, so if it dies, I apologize. I've always really liked this change right here. Oh, missed it. There you go. That change right there. It's like a Madison change, I think, where you can kind of flick the card like that. So I've liked that one a lot. It's available on his channel. I forget the name of it though. And honestly, the snap change has always been pretty awesome. And I like to do this little cleanup where you can kind of clean it. Well, I've actually done a snap change with just the card, like, well, it's a bit high with the camera. but where you snap it. Yeah, it's a bit high with the camera. Let me fix the angle there. So snap it, and then you can come back, put that card into cop, and pull this on top, and you can clean everything up, and then go into a shapeshifter change. Anyway, so guys, I'll end it there. Thanks so much for joining. Really appreciate it. I'll see you all in the group lesson. New video next Sunday, 11 a.m. Stay tuned for that, and there'll be another live stream coming in the June live stream. So I hope you guys enjoyed the Jamz Live episode 14, and I'll catch you guys next time.